My family fled to Ethiopia at the age of 1 due to civil war, and we were refugee in Ethiopia. Stayed there for 5 years and moved to, for 4 years, sorry, and moved to Australia when I was 5 years old in '98. It was the first time I saw anyone that was of a different skin color to myself. So being super excited and just that curiosity inside me, I ran around and shook everyone's hand that was a different color. To myself, my mom was like, "What are you doing?" and started chasing me around. But for me, that was a very special sort of moment. I was fortunate enough to start in prep because I came at the age of 5, and I was always a very shy kid. Always sat towards the middle or the back of the class. Didn't put my hand up to answer any questions. I was not an A student, but I wasn't an F student either. I was generally getting B's and C's and just going through the motions and just attending school and just fading to the background and just being quiet. And yeah, that was kind of who I was as a young person. I was going to year 12 and just always been the quiet kid. And there was a moment where the school that I was going to had this system when it came to picking school captains, where the young people don't put their hand up because generally that allows the confident kids to always get the opportunities. They had a very different system where the teachers would nominate young people and then the students will vote for who should be their captain. And one teacher said that they will nominate me. I found it really weird. I'm like, why me? I don't see the leadership capability within myself. I've never been one to stand in front of crowds or speak up. So I found that really weird, but then she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at that moment. And I couldn't stop her from nominating me. And then majority of the young people voted for me to be their captain. And I thought it was a prank. I'm like, no, sorry, I don't want to do this. And I think looking back is probably one of the biggest moments of my life, because that gave me the platform and the opportunity to really push myself. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm in this space. I might as well give it 100%. I remember the very first meeting we had with a new principal that came to the school, because the school was seen as a bit troublesome at that point. And I think that we were assigned a principal, which doesn't happen too often. So he came in to make a radical change and try to improve the school's behavior and results and a couple of other things. So he suggested that he's gonna change the uniforms completely, make any kids that don't have all the books buy it within a certain period of time, or else risk being suspended or expelled. And my co-captain and vice-captain at the time were saying, all right, yes, that sounds like you're trying to make a positive change, obviously. But for me, I said no. And in that moment, I wasn't really thinking about consequences. I wasn't thinking about anything other than what I thought was the best option for the school that I was representing and the young students that voted me into that role. So he asked me why, and I said, well, you come to a school where a lot of the young people are from low socioeconomical backgrounds or maybe complex households, and the financial burden that it would cause to completely change the uniforms halfway through a year and make kids buy books where maybe they're sharing it with siblings or friends or family because they can't afford to purchase all of them, and putting them at risk of being expelled and suspended just isn't fair on them. So I said that it should be something they should ease into for the next year and take time, because it's not going to be easy, and having that empathy for the students and the families that are involved in the school would be really important. And he told me that he's hardly ever had a young person that stood up to him and said no, and that he respected my opinion. And for me, that was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, so my opinions are valued and my actions do matter. And it was a very special moment for me. From there on, my confidence just grew, started taking on more opportunities, started volunteering for my local club as a soccer coach, started volunteering for organizations, and just realized that I can make a difference in the world bit by bit. So that was a massive moment for me that changed my trajectory. Currently, I'm working at the Department of Education as a transitions advocate, helping young people with their educational pathways, and obviously that's another thing that I'm very passionate about as well. My passions lie very deeply with helping young people see their potential, because as a young person myself, I never really saw what I was capable of, or really had the ambitions to achieve what I've achieved, and being involved in the biggest, one of the biggest A-League clubs and one of the biggest AFL clubs, and all of those opportunities that I've had. And I work for the Department of Education. I could have never imagined. But now to actually be in these opportunities is amazing, and I'm really passionate about helping young people see what they're capable of and helping them take that next step and fulfill their potential.